Hello, this is Okan, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the first generation Apple iPod Touch and then doing an internet speed test and comparing it to the first generation iPhone. So let's start with the hardware. So on the front, there's no speaker grill on the top. For that matter, there's absolutely no speaker grill on this whole device. The only way of hearing audio is putting it in putting headphones into it or putting on a torpedo or whatnot. Also, there's the home button in regular place. I'm not sure if you could tell, but the home button on the iPod Touch is actually slightly smaller than the home button on the first generation iPhone. There's also this plastic black rim around it, which also extends down into here. This is the only Apple iPod Touch model to have the separate rim. On the second and third generation, they were connected with the Chrome back, which we're getting to right now. Here, this is really reflective and a scratch and fingerprint magnet. Luckily, they did change that with the 5th generation. But I'm not even sure if you can see this, but there's an 8GB model, because this is an 8GB. iPod and Apple, and here is the antenna cover. On the left side, one of the signature things about this iPod Touch model is that there's absolutely no volume rocker or mute switch, although they did put a volume rocker in the 2nd generation, and now all iPod Touch models except this one have volume rockers. I don't think any of them have the mute switch. On the top, there's the left side power button. They had the power button on the left side in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd generation, although in the 4th generation they moved it over to the right side, and they moved the antenna cover over to the left side. So that's the top. On the right side, just completely flat, just like the left side. On the bottom, this is where the 30-pin dock goes, and the 3.5mm headphone jack. So let's open it up. I've changed this password just for this video. So this is running iOS 1.1.5, which is the final version of iOS 1, and the previous owner did not upgrade to iOS 2. So this is, as you could say, it's authentic iOS 1. This only came with these default apps. You could not even slide it, and you could not even choose where the apps went. They just went where they went. So I'm going to be reviewing some of the major apps, which include Safari, YouTube, calculator, settings, and music. Because this is an iPod, let's start with music. This is pretty much the same as the iPod app on the 1st generation iPhone. Playlists, artists, songs, albums, and more, containing audiobooks, compilations, composers, genres, and podcasts. It also has cover flow, which, yeah, there it goes. That's kind of cool. So let's review Safari. This Safari app was a lot different from the one which was introduced in iOS 2. Most notably, it had the search bar, it had a Google or Yahoo search bar underneath the universal search bar. So let's just search for iPod. As you can see, it's taking some time to load. Still thinking. Now, here we have it. Just pod, shuffle. What's that? So let's go to YouTube. Unfortunately, this YouTube app is broken. It does not work. Partly because this is from when YouTube had star ratings, not from before the thumbs up, thumbs down. So you can see some things, but I'm actually going to just click on this one. But if you try to watch it, airplane movie. So you can't watch anything. So now let's go into calculator. Here is the super old calculator app with the circular buttons. And if you turn it into landscape mode, it doesn't do anything. Doesn't go into the scientific calculator. That was in iOS 2. But you can still do some things. But yeah. And finally, let's go into settings. this is pretty much just one page of settings. There wasn't much in here, but let's just go into general, about. As you can see, it is on version 1.1.5. So again, final version of iOS 1. So now let's compare it to the first generation iPhone. On the front, we do have the speaker grill up here, and we also have a chrome rim on the first generation iPhone, which is the same as the chrome back as on the back of the first generation iPod Touch. Also on the sides, you do see volume rockers and a mute switch. On the top, the upper headphone jack and the right side power button. Just flat, right side's pretty much the same. And the 30-pin dock connectors. And also the first generation iPod Touch is pretty considerably thinner than the first generation iPhone. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's actually, the first generation iPod Touch is actually thinner than the iPhone 5. So now let's do the speed tests. Again, I've changed this password just for this video. The first generation iPhone, which I did feature in a previous video, is running iOS 3.1.3, which was the final software version available for both of these devices, although again, this one was never upgraded. So let's do the internet speed test. I've actually been curious, because I actually have used both of these devices for internet. Although the first generation iPhone on Wi-Fi does tend to crash on websites more often. And I forgot to mention, the iPod Touch is an Wi-Fi only. And these are both on the same Wi-Fi network. So let's just search for iPod Touch. Oh, oops. So, 3, 2, 1. Whoa, iPod Touch is winning. I actually did not expect that. Whoa, iPod Touch did win by a slight margin. That actually is kind of interesting to know. So, that's kind of cool. So that was just a quick fun speed test. So please like or subscribe this video if you liked it. So thank you for watching, and bye.